What's up, everybody? You tuned in to Rightfully Structured. I just want to speak on my experiences of being open minded. I basically was always open to learn. I was always open to do different things. Like, I recall growing up in the hood as a youngin', and they had they had a rec center not too far from where we live, where all the kids go in the summertime. So it's like a certain period of time they go there to give them get breakfast, get lunch. They got things to do for the kids. But we call it Freedy Beady, and this was in Richmond. But I was actually thankful for stuff like that because it was the programs I was always willing to learn. I learned how to play tennis in some programs. I was always willing to do stuff. Just being open. I recall like from being from growing up in the hood, basically, if you doing certain things that other people might not feel the same way about, then you looked at differently. But I never really cared about that. Like, I give an example, like camping. Now it's a lot, it's a lot of people from the hood that never even been camping, and a lot of people would criticize somebody that do. I seen it. Hold on one second. But I didn't care, you know. It was about different experiences. I seen a lot growing up and been through a lot, so it's like I wanted something different to avoid the pains and the things that you can't get. So I wanted something to fill that void in the right way. Basically, I seen this. I I recall doing a bunch of stuff that really was kind of like out of my comfort zone as a young kid. I wrote a book. I believe I was in the, let's see if I can get this correct. Maybe it was the third grade, and no, it might have been like the fourth grade. But that book, I won third. What was it? Yeah, third place in the whole city of Richmond as a young kid. Now that's something that I wasn't expecting. So now, I feel myself. I gotta go, and I gotta get on the stage. I gotta do all of this and that. And I'm like, that was like a little disturbing for me. But by me being that way, I was not really seeing how much I should appreciate the situation. Another example, it was a program that I was accepted. I'm not gonna say put in. I was accepted in, and I took it. It was called Mind Games. So it was like basically for like gifted, talented kids. And I'm gonna be honest, I did not like it. In the beginning, I did not want to be in it. I didn't want to do it. I just wanted to be out of it. Over time, as my mind expanded and I started seeing it for really what it was like a way to vent, and I was seeing things like in a different light. But basically, went through that program, and our school, it was only probably about like 8 of us in the program at that school in the whole city of Richmond. We came out second place, and I'll never forget. We had to do all these different things to actually basically using your mind, and you had to beat out these other schools, these other kids in these schools, like building towers out of limited types of material, all types of. It was like all types of challenges, and we came out to be second place. But I recall, because the way I was maneuvering through my challenges, I was a major part of actually winning too. And I can't find that trophy. I can't find my no, I still have the certificate, but I had a trophy. But it was so long ago, things get misplaced, everything. But I sit back and I think like, man, I was truly open minded as a young kid, because if I closed myself off to a lot, I probably would have never even seen those situations that I went through. And it's a lot more, but I don't want to go all deep into that. But it's important to keep an open mind, always willing to learn. Like, it goes so deep as far as even me repairing stuff. Like, it could be cars, house. I was always open minded to learning and actually putting my hands on doing things. Always willing. But it also became a point in my life where I had to actually see how can I place these things in the correct places so that it can truly benefit me to another level. I always try to like keep an open mind as far as my kids also, like, they can tell you I always try to have them do different things. Indoor skydive always come with something fresh and different. Always. They could tell you. Always try to keep things like, fun and just an experience. And mainly because looking at my situation back, not like saying that, trying to down my situation, but I know what they deserve. So I always kept an open mind as far as them and their experiences. Because one day they're going to look back at everything they've been through too. And they're going to see, and you try to have the good outweigh the bad. That's my objective. But no, always be willing to, just be open minded to learning, because I can get deep. I can really get deep with it, like even from solar to anything. Because the more you know, the better it would help as far as like you doing something for yourself too. Because you expanding your mind, being open to stuff, now you probably won't even need somebody to do something for you because you have the knowledge of it. Just being able to do it yourself. Not saying that you have to make everything to do it yourself, but just having the knowledge of it though. It could be simple little fixes around the house. It could be anything. It doesn't really matter. I'll give you an example. My daughter had a phone. She cracked the screen, and now I'm not no phone technician or none of that. So first thing I did, I looked at the phone. So I'm like, dang, let me see what I could do. Looked at the new phones. I'm like, I don't know about all that. I'm not going to spend that kind of money on that right now. So looking at videos how to repair, and I watched it and I watched it, and I just kept watching them probably for like an hour or two until I was like, you know what, I got this. So I told her, like, go on Amazon, just order the stuff and I'll fix it. So the stuff came, and it was like, I felt like a doctor the way I had to do things on that phone, but I managed to fix it. Now, that was the good outcome, that I was able to fix it. But let me be honest about the bad is the fact that it was a cheap screen. So with that, eventually it was having issues because it wasn't like an original, and that's what you had to, you had to be careful with. It wasn't an original, but I fixed it. Never done that before, but because I kept an open mind and I was like, you know what, let me try this. I could probably, make it work. I fixed it. Eventually, she was having issues with it again because of that old screen, but also, not to go too far off the subject, the back was cracked. So that was like a whole nother thing right there. But more to the story is that, I did something that I never did before, and I did it. And a lot of people that know me, that's pretty much how I've been. I ain't. It's a lot of stuff I never done before, but give me a second to actually, and I'm so thankful for YouTube. Let me say that because that will actually give you the the visual, the being able to visualize everything and be able to fix it. So I'm truly thankful for YouTube because I'm the type of person that like to take things in my own hands a lot of times, especially if I can save myself some money. But also keep an open mind as far as you growing. Don't close yourself off. Life is limitless. It's always something that you can work towards and better yourself. That's one thing I'm learning still, because it's always something you can learn. It's a lot of stuff to learn. You can't learn everything. I don't think in one lifetime. There's too many things to learn. But keep an open mind. Just you see the opportunity to better yourself. Take heed to it. Doesn't matter what anybody else think or how they might feel about it, because at the end of the day, it's your journey. It's your life. You have to live your own life, regardless if you're with somebody or whatever the case may be. You're still going to be living your separate lives. You can't live a life for somebody else. You can help them, you can guide them, but it's really on you. So taking that initiative and just making it work for yourself. I'm gonna be honest. I I'm doing social media, but I don't do a lot of social media as far as like Instagram and stuff like that. But I don't even have cable. It's just I'm paying for something for nothing because it's a form of distraction. It definitely is for me at least. I'm gonna say that it's definitely a form of distraction because being open minded and taking the time to actually learn, you're not gonna get everything on TV. You're not gonna get everything on YouTube, but you're gonna learn a lot more probably on YouTube versus the TV, depending on what you're looking up. But definitely just be open minded to yourself. I recall going through phases in my life, and it's like I can feel that upgrade. I'm gonna go back to when I first felt like I could feel the upgrade, like I'm growing to another level. I was like 18, and I had a conversation with somebody at my job. That was like my first real job because I was confused. I was confused with everything, everybody, because I felt like the more I was trying to grow, it was like stuff trying to hold me back. And when I had this conversation with an older gentleman, he he gave me some real game. He said, basically, it's about you, your decisions that you make for the better of you is for you. But if you look at it in a form of you making better decisions for yourself, how it's going to affect other people, then you're not working for yourself. You're working for other people. You need to work for yourself to better yourself. And that's when we had that conversation, I changed. I started changing stuff because I was kind of like back and forth. And he's a good guy. I wish I can get in contact with him. Hopefully, I do. But he gave me some real game. And one of my close friends, he can vouch on that. He gave us a lot of game, and a lot of the stuff that he talked about, we used to sit back and giggle and repeat what he said and this and that because we didn't know no better. We was young. But I tell you what, after we moved on from that job, time passed a little bit, and stuff started happening that he was talking about. It was a newfound respect for him that I had in my heart. It wasn't that I didn't believe everything he said, but that's just like anybody that's not aware of certain things. It's hard for them to accept certain things because you want to see it, you want to know it. You need some type of proof right there, not just what somebody's saying or what people are saying. You want to see it actually physically happening or something. And at the age that I was in, yeah, 18, could you blame me? I'm glad I was able to move forward and see things for what it was. I had to make a lot of life decisions right there. I remember because I was going back and forth, and I had to change a lot, and I changed it. And when I changed that, it was like really no looking back. And I recall myself getting comfortable in that position to the point that I was unaware because I lost contact with him. That I was unaware that change wasn't done with me. It wasn't done. It was more to come. And being that young and you ain't got the right guidance, it could be very tough. So I was stuck to figure out a lot on my own, which I did. And I was successful with a lot, but I made a lot of mistakes too. Comes with growing. But I accept it. I accept my mistakes, ask for forgiveness, and move forward. I forgave people that done me wrong in my past growing up, especially around them times. But I do appreciate the gentleman that helped me though, because that was like a very dark time, I could say, at the time, because it was too many things pulling at me. And at that age, without the proper guidance, it can be rough. Because you can hear a lot of stuff that people saying around you, but it also can put you like in the middle of a circle. All these people just saying stuff, not literally like that's what it is, but that's how it would be looked at when the person goes and sit back and actually think about what somebody said to them, and they can see all these people that's trying to tell them something, but still not clear. Be open minded to growing, but please be mindful of the information that you get from people. Just because they work in a church, just because their title says something that's supposed to be helpful to somebody doesn't mean that everything is going to be out of good intent, and that's proven. I don't want to go too deep into that. Hopefully, the smart people in here know what I'm trying to say. If you're confused about something and you go to somebody for advice, advice is advice. So you still need to make your own decisions. So that means you still need to look at what this advice is about and how it matches your situation, how it actually can benefit your situation. You actually have to make that decision yourself. Just because somebody give you advice doesn't mean that you just go by it because of what they saying. You still have to use your intuition to make your better judgment, because it's a lot of wicked people out here. They see you in this vulnerable state, they're going to try to use you. And sadly, a lot of these people are religious. So that's why I say you can't judge a person. You can't judge a person. Just because somebody have a title doesn't mean that, they're doing everything right. Anybody can have a title. One thing I know though, you can pretend, but you only can pretend for so long. And somebody will, you know, They don't see things clear. They're very vulnerable. They're easy to be pulled in. And the people that be like actual predators like that play on people's vulnerable, being vulnerable, they they see this. They know. So if you're in this state, you're approaching somebody, you still have to protect yourself. You still have to remind yourself that you're going to a person for advice. You're not going to them to change your life. You're going for advice. You're still in control of your life. So you need to act like you're in control of it. And not even act like you need to be in control of it while you search for advice. It's people putting themselves in serious situations because they depending on the wrong people. This happens every day, any day. Period. You have to be able to take advice and use your intuition, work through it, see how this actually benefits your situation. So you're taking control of your situation. That way you're not guided away from something. End of the day, people are going to be people. So don't look at it like because somebody is religious or whatever the case may be, spiritual or whatever, that they're going to have a better outlook of things. Before you even make that decision to get advice, you need to probably do some research on what type of person you about to get advice from or something. Or at least be able to take the advice and make your own decision. Don't let somebody make your decision to the point that now you done got so deep into what somebody been saying to you, they didn't like mix your whole life up because they knew how they can treat you. But that goes back to what I was saying about the guy that helped me at my first job. He told me, he gave me advice, but I didn't look for him to save me. I looked for him to give me some type of understanding, and I figured it out myself because at the end of the day, it was about me. I had to make that decision, not him for me, because he's not living my life. Regardless of what I say, I know what's good for me after my decision I made, from communicating with him. It might have been a tough decision, but, you got to be able to think for yourself. Meanwhile, taking advice, but still being open-minded and being able to move forward. Even if you don't get all the answers, at least you know that, okay, this decision doesn't look like it's the best decision, even though I can't figure out the next step. You made the first step. If you're moving right, your answer, all your questions and everything will be answered, just probably not the way you want. And that's what I learned. Just remember, be open-minded to learning, especially about yourself. But when it comes to decisions in your life, you can be open minded to advice, but make sure that you're making that final decision for yourself, not somebody else. Don't make that big mistake. Thank you for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time.